The teams now face off in 2 secure zones in Edmonton and Toronto, Canada. We are feeling good about the fact.
And you know how much I paid for it?
In fact, one player was
$23.
saying from the bubble that this is the safest he's felt.
I got some tissue, 2 bag of chips, and that WWE card.
Thursday, they're also declaring success. The league says only 2 players inside the bubble have tested.
I ain't get the 2 months. I got $9.99 for 1 month, ain't it?
On a nightly basis.
Yeah, Kamika.
They, as a practical matter, don't leave their room results. They have the results the next morning.
Still to come in football. The NFL says it takes it serious, reconfiguring locker rooms, reducing travel schedules, doing away with preseason games.
Wait.
But like baseball, the NFL is allowing players and staff to go home, increasing the risk of getting infected. In an open letter, Commissioner Roger Goodell wrote, "In a year that's been extraordinarily difficult for our country and the world, we hope that the energy of this moment will provide some."
You wasn't my ball cack, I ball cacking.
But growing numbers of NFL players opting out of the 2020 season will seem to indicate they don't share that optimism. So,
Fuck me, man. Fuck me. What the fuck I get myself into now? Damn.
Marcus 7, CNN,
Thanks for being with me this afternoon. I'm Erica Hill. CNN Newsroom with Anna Cabrera starts.
I prefer HelloFresh over any other meal kit because of the variety in these box foods and the quality of the food totally exceeds any other meal kit company I've ever tried. I love it.
Go to HelloFresh.com and use code TV80 for $80 off, including free shipping.
I had a husband who was my bishop, but when he died, I knew I was in big trouble.
At Care.com, search for lots of local caregivers who can help with meals, housekeeping, personal care, and more. It costs less than you think, and it's easy to pay. Care.com.
What stands behind the yard sign of ADT Home? It's your world, safer and more secure against the unknown and unimaginable. With tested, trusted, 24/7 protection and a system to help you customize video doorbells, indoor and outdoor cameras.
You know I'm not finding the beat the game yet, right, Wait.
Protection and fire and smoke alarms.
You know I'm not finding the beat the game yet, right?
Starting at just $28.99 a month. Time of day, ADT. Call 1-800-ADT ASAP.
Oh, you said what? I'm walking? Yeah, I was walking before, didn't you?
And not just for the sun. Keep cool. With Mission.
I wasn't on Netflix. Oh no, I wasn't on Netflix. No. I wasn't. I was on Netflix. Wait. I watching a movie I bought. A DVD I bought.
How you watch?
On my PS4. On my PS4, you can buy DVD on PS4, man. Wait. DVD can be.
Please update your payment information to Casino.
I got to put the car on. I'll put the car on there later. I'll put it on there later.
Come here, my tight.
I didn't put it up top.
Make the smart choice and switch to Sprint. Get less of cable, less price. Get started
Attention, former Boy Scout. If you were sexually abused by an adult scout leader, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Management has agreed to set up a victim compensation fund for victims of child sexual abuse. Nearly 7 decades ago, our largest financial will literally be $1,200 right now.
Yes. We study world-class policy.
We're so stress-free. The whole process was amazing, and I'm happy to start.
You're not a discount agent. These are top-level agents that will give you the best results.
I'm Nick Walsh in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And this is CNN.
Closed captioning brought to you by mesobook.com.
Mesothelioma is all we do. For over 10 years, we have offered a free book on mesothelioma.
Following this Saturday, you were live in the CNN News where in New York State, Florida already approved. President Trump issuing a federal protection as Hurricane Maria tore back state and 9,000 another member of Congress. Democratic Representative Raul of Arizona has just tested positive for the virus, just days after he attended a committee hearing with Republican Congressman Louis Gohmert, who has consistently refused to wear a mask on Capitol Hill. Grijalva went into quarantine after news Gohmert had tested positive, referring to the Texans' behavior as a selfish act. Meanwhile, grim projection today from the CDC, despite 30 states pausing or rolling back reopening plans, another 20,000 Americans are expected to die from COVID-19 in just the next 3 weeks. The month of July saw 10 days of deaths, topping 1,000 in a single day. 5 of those days just this past week. Leaders for Northern California have reported 219 COVID-related deaths in the past 24 hours. That is the most reported deaths in a single day in that state. Also today, negotiations continue between top Democratic leaders and White House officials. They're trying to hammer out a deal after a federal $600 a week unemployment benefit expired yesterday. Also, reports that tonight's game between the St. Louis Cardinals and Milwaukee Brewers has been postponed after more Cardinals tested positive. It comes the day after the Major League Commissioner warned the short season could be shut down altogether. Let's begin our coverage in Florida now, where Hurricane Isaias is expected to affect at least 7 million people in that state. The Flores is standing by in Miami for us. But first, let's go to the meteorologist Chad Myers. He's in CNN's Weather Center. Chad, what is the latest on the storm's track?
Anna, as much as Hannah was an overachiever last week, this is an underachiever, and we're really happy about it. There's dry air around. If you woke up in Miami this morning or anywhere in South Florida, you went, where did the humidity? It felt pretty good down there. That humidity, or lack thereof, has been entrained into the storm and is really, at this point in time, killing it off. Now, that doesn't mean that this thing couldn't get to the Gulf Stream and regenerate into something much stronger, because we have had squalls already come on shore here in South Florida, some of them coming in with 45 miles per hour winds. This thing's still 130 miles away, so it's a big wide storm. It may just not have the big center low pressure with a high winds, but 75 miles an hour or so along the coast will certainly cause some damage. Hurricane warnings are still posted and will continue to be posted as the storm runs up the east coast. So where does it go from here? Well, 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, likely approaches West Palm. That's 8 a.m. Unless you take the shorter track, which is still in the coast. And that shorter track heading toward Broward, North Miami-Dade, that would be maybe a 3 o'clock a.m. landfall because it doesn't have as far to go. And then if that happened, it would be on shore and again continue to die off. And that would be great news. Not great if you're underneath it, but at least great if you're up here and don't want this thing in the Gulf Stream any longer than it has to be. The more it's overland, the more it's going to die, the more it's over water, the bigger it's going to get. You'd rather it be smaller than bigger, of course.
much better to be an underperformer than an overperformer in the case of a hurricane. Thank you, Chad. Let's go to Rosa now in Miami. And we know, Rosa, Florida has become the COVID-19 epicenter here in the U.S., reporting more than 9,000 cases today for the 5th straight day. But what is the state doing to prepare for this extreme weather event during a pandemic? You know, this is a compounding disaster. That's how officials call it, because it
What's
is
up,
a
brother?
hurricane
Parking my
happening
feet.
during a
How's it
pandemic.
been going?
Look, Miami-Dade County
What?
doesn't really have a choice. They have to prepare
Oh, well.
for the worst. According to the Director of Emergency Management, 2/3
Oh, you like
of the nearly 3 million
What, you like caffeine, wait?
in this county live in an evacuation zone.
I said, you left my ball cake?
Evacuations have been ordered. The county is shelters on standby to these shelters of COVID-19 screening and temperature checks. And they also have 30 square feet per person so that they can address that social distance. Now, that's 20 feet less than the FEMA recommendation, and that's why parents say that staffing those shelters make sure that it's 15 and so forth. And we were talking about how the pandemic, here in the state of Florida for the past 2 weeks, the 13 and 18%. Yes, the numbers, the daily COVID-19 numbers have stabilized. They've hit about 9,000 for about 2 days. Which will tell you that is a stabilization at a very high number. So on top of that, look at preparations for Hurricane Saida. Florida Power says that they are recommending that customers prepare for longer wait times when it comes to the restoration of power. They say that they approved the 16 sites across
Oh my God.
But Anna, these are human beings that are going to be restoring this power whenever the power outages happen. So this company, of course, they're going to be wearing masks, we're going to sanitize the equipment, they're social distancing, and also a key factor, they're going to be working in small groups so that they're taking out breaks constantly and also contact trace to make sure that it doesn't spread. To stay safe, we know that this hurricane is supposed to be impacting in the next couple of hours. Thank you. Thanks to Chad Myers as well. Dr. Holly Salvino, technology at Emory University. And Dr. I understand you're in Miami right now on hurricane. How real is this concern that if people have to go to shelters, they could become a super spreader event?
I think it's a very concerning what happens then because other things that happen right next to this hurricane in South Florida and other states. There's all sorts of things that can happen, so there's other things that can create disruption. And that is like people who will go into shelters and they're actually going to shelters. It's an ideal situation to increase the spread. So we've got to be sure that the shelters are ready to get mask people, to somewhat try to social distance people, and to have hand sanitizers in place.
The shelters, the Miami-Dade Emergency Operations Center also, we've learned, is using 4 UV sterilizer fans that are designed to instantly kill airborne particles of COVID-19. Now, officials say that they're working to get these UV fans in evacuation centers as well, but how well do those fans actually work?
Well, we don't know. I think, when there's a close environment, when there's a crowded environment, we've got to be sure that the air is moving, and we've got to make sure that we have the appropriate ventilation, and we have the appropriate...
Hey, well, if I have to take the hat off?
You can have the ventilators, you can have what they have, but the most important thing is to be able to open windows to be sure that there's air flowing.
You say what?
There really is not a lot of, stagnant air, which that will increase...
You think I can need a hat off or take it off?
To transmit a virus.
This big hat.
We heard the chief
You say what? Wait.
Operation Warp Speed say that he's optimistic the vaccine could be ready by the end of the year or shortly into 2021. And he wouldn't be surprised if it is in the 90%.
Well, you say take the big hat off?
What makes you agree or disagree with this?
Okay. What about that hat?
As an investigator, my role is to conduct this study with the highest possible quality standards, so we have the right data that can be analyzed and decide whether, the vaccine works or not. And as an
what about this?
I try not to be in favor or against something, Because my role, when I'm doing a study like this, some people are receiving the vaccine, some people are receiving placebo.
Oh, what about this?
My goal is that nobody gets infected. My goal is that I tell people how to protect themselves and decrease actually the risk of infection. So, that's a challenge of doing a vaccine study during a pandemic, is that we're trying to decrease transmission at the same time we're trying to test the vaccine. So I don't, I want to be optimistic, but I also want to be realistic. This is not an easy study to do. This is going to be a very challenging study.
Better way.
Get the results we're looking for. But again, I really, as an investigator, don't like to tell people whether I favor this or not, because the reality is you can't tell.
Let me ask you some follow-up questions then that you might be able to answer. I want you to hear the words from Georgia news anchor, who is the first U.S. participant in phase 3 of this trial for Moderna.
You are the first person in the United States to get a shot in a phase 3 clinical trial. What does that feel like?
It is very exciting. I'm very anxious about it. Just hope to get really good results. I know a lot of people are doing a lot of different vaccine trials and things are going on, but I feel so proud.
That woman, Dawn Baker, is the human face of your work, Doctor. What makes someone a good candidate to be part of this trial?
Well, first of all, let me say that study volunteers are the real heroes.
Okay, wait, you said what now?
Without study volunteers, without community, you would not have clinical trials. So each and everybody that volunteers for a study, in my mind, are heroes, are really the ones that are making the study possible. What makes you a good volunteer is really you need to be somebody willing to participate, like she is, or willing to be engaged, willing to be asked questions, willing to come for tests, to visits, but also, willing not to move for, a year or two that lasts the study, but also somebody who has enough exposure. If you're going to stay at home and not go anywhere, you're not a very good volunteer, but at the same time, you want to be sure you kind of want to gauge where the vaccine, where the virus risk is in the community and for that individual. So those are the challenges, but the volunteers, in my mind, are really the ones that need to be congratulated. Anybody that volunteers for a study is really doing hero work.
I know Dr. Fauci has said with this particular trial, they're working to get people between 18 and 65.
Very funny, Will. Very funny. Oh, thank the Lord. I was going to get mad. I would get calm as anybody could be with it without, man. I was calm. I didn't get mad none. So I was like, get it back on. So I came back on. See, I wasn't mad because I got to see my rocking. See my show, so you good, man. You know good, man. You know how it goes.
Data Safety and Monitoring Board, and those are the people independent of the investigators that would.
Anyway, you said. Okay, what about this right here? What about this phase, Mike? Wait.
People are going to say when the study stops, either because it worked or because what we call in clinical trials, the vaccine is showing at the end of the field.
What? The phase mark out too?
And the risk of disease between those that receive the vaccine and those that receive placebo, the study will then be.
Oh, that's better, huh?
Yeah. It's fascinating. It's so important the work you were doing. Dr. Carlos Del Rio, thank you for being here. Thank you.
I didn't want my vote to go.
Thank you, man.
Fuck off the damn direct TV.
Every day this week so far. And the numbers still rising.
I don't want my vote to go. Fuck off. I don't want my vote to go. Stop the fuck off direct TV.
Florida.
Wait. What do you think?
Verizon knows how to build unlimited
I didn't want my vote to go stop the fuck off. Damn direct TV.
Because everyone deserves the best.
I had it out many times with them.
Keeping your smile healthy between dental visits is important. Waterpick Sonic Fusion allows you to brush and floss at the same time. Brushing, even with an electric toothbrush, only gets the surface. But Waterpick Sonic Fusion thoroughly
I gotta talk to
areas
Will
that other products miss.
Hang on 1 second, wait.
Proven to be twice as effective as regular
I'm
brushing and flossing.
about to do something
it's one
right
step
quick.
to a complete clean. Keep your smile healthy between dental visits. Learn more at waterpick.com. Take in fragrance inspired by nature with Airwick Essential Mist. With kits starting at just $10, you can transform natural essential oils into mist at a price that is just right.
I gotta get my own.
Experience Airwick Essential Mist.
Car gurus and the less painful way.
I used to find car shopping painful too, and then car gurus showed me how good of a deal I could get. Or not. This is my car. And that's my deal.
Go to Car Gurus today.
When you think of it, you think of people quickly. But when you have the Chase mobile app, your banking is virtually anything. So when you get a check, you can deposit it from here. And you can see your transactions and take a balance from here. You can detect suspicious activity on your account from here. And you can pay your friends back from here. So when someone asks you, where's your bank? You can tell them, here's my bank. Or, here's my bank. Or, here's my bank. Because if you download and use the Chase mobile app, your bank is virtually any place. So visit chase.com/mobile.
You get a free 5-piece utensil set and more from Gotham Steel. Tired of digging through a mix of pots and pans just to find the right one? Well, now there's Gotham Steel Stackmaster Cookware. Non-stick, space-saving cookware neatly stacks inside itself. Finally, you can have an organized kitchen with every pan and lid ready
What's
for
up, Will?
fingertips. Stackmaster features a triple
Will, you got me fired up, man. You think?
super durable cast texture surface. Nothing sticks to these pans. Everything just slips.
Hey, you got me fired up with me thing.
You can chop right inside.
Oh, you did?
Without making any scratches. Even use electric metal beaters.
Yeah.
Everything slides
That happens
right out,
sometimes.
not even a scratch. Plus, their oven
That
safe.
happens.
Great for
Well, you ain't got nobody to talk
all the
to.
way up to 500 degrees. Even flames won't damage these pans. The entire
I hardly ever get on it.
dishwasher safe and made without
Oh man, you fucking me up when you said about direct TV, man. Dumb motherfucker, on damn fight. You fight me up, man.
With a special TV offer, get a full 10-piece Stackmaster cookware set with a factory direct price of just $5
Well,
of $39.99, and we'll even ship it to
you know, Will,
the
when
click to order today, we're going to drop one payment. You'll get it all for just
you know, when I don't get find out to get mad with them like that, Will, because they get doing their job. You know, they finally keep their TV. They finally keep TV up and going, but sometimes if you're not gonna say you get your money on the first and third of the month. They put you on the first where you got to pay when you got to pay it like on the in the middle of the month. And you ain't got no kind of money. Yeah. See, that was that's what I'm telling you. See, but I like if they would put but if they would put like on the first or the third of the month, everything would be good, but they don't want to put on the first and third of the month. They want to keep it in the middle of the month.
Download PayPal today.
More than 153,000 Americans are dead.
Oh, okay, Will. I will PK it, man.
Deny, downplay,
I would have PK'd
and
it.
deflect. How else would you explain his hotspot tour of Florida yesterday, where he held this event with no mask?
I remember that fight.
Crowds were wearing masks and
I remember
no
that
sign
fight.
of social distancing. And when he was asked about the number of deaths in Florida, which, by the way, set records 4 days in a row this week, the president said this.
It's a tribute to your governor and government.
They do me like that.
Did a really good job. He has a very big nursing home population. So they were doing really well in Florida.
They do me like that too, man. I hate that. They say gay and God, O and N, O that can this, and then they say H as in hat, N as in something else they say. And then they get the
We don't know where Herman Cain was exposed to the coronavirus.
Oh.
He did attend.
I ain't got a problem with them.
Campaign rally June 20th.
I don't got a problem with it.
Campaign staffers and Secret Service agents tested positive. And yet, the day after, Cain died. The president goes to Florida and just relishes in the crowd.
That probably like the like say like you got that you got direct TV internet. That's what you got, Will. That's why you be doing that. You got that satellite internet.
Show the fact that the president will still hold this event, few masks, no social distancing, and in Florida no less. What's your reaction to that?
Man, hey Will, you know what you need to do, Will?
Has very few choices as far as an election strategy.
You need to come to my house, Will.
He's made the choice.
When you talking about good internet, Will, you'll say, whoa.
Because if he now, changed course and said we've got to have a national strategy, we've got to really work on this.
No, we use for cable
people would say,
internet.
why now? This is too late. The problem with this is I think the president used this as a political issue. This is way beyond a political issue. This is an issue that's touched the life of every American.
We got good internet. And high-free internet too, Will. High-free internet.
Lost social relationships.
So,
and that's powerful. And,
that's why you come
I think the president is miscalculating politically.
Yeah, you gotta come on here, Will, man. You gonna say, man, you ain't gonna want to need here when you start making my internet ill. My internet good, bro.
This is going to be a referendum on how he's handled this, whether he faces up to that or continues to ignore it.
And as you talk about this virus really crossing all dividing lines, political and otherwise, it wasn't just for McCain. We also learned that one of the president's
I got the game. I got. No, this go for Tsunami. I got the game yesterday, Will. Got the game yesterday. This a good game. Well, I can this game right here. It's open world game. No, it's not like Down May 5. It's different for Down May 5. This right here is for you pick a samurai. A warrior something for what you do. You go around trying to kill all the other people and do making and try to save your uncle.
To selfishly make a political statement at the
but he can find
of
their
their colleagues, staff, and their families. So what will it take to make them take it seriously?
Oh yeah. Anyway, this game right here, Will, it only for PlayStation.
What they care about is getting reelected.
Only for PlayStation.
Keeping their base together, and sometimes government fails.
Anyway,
despite their best efforts, this is much worse. The president
they sure don't.
Made the effort. He talked about slowing down testing.
Oh, but guess what? I can tell how many of them.
Want people to see the scope of the problem.
Let me tell you how many.
The problem attacked people, and
I called Mama, right? I called Mama. I probably called Mama. I said, Mama.
No, not yet.
I said, do you got go for Tsunami? And
I ain't talked to her from
they said, no, we don't got the game. We gotta go again. Before they said that, they said, no, we don't got the game. We got it for Xbox. I was like,
okay.
How you got the game for Xbox? The game is only for PlayStation 4.
Again, we have many examples of government.
Yes, you that book.
So,
people really remember the fact that Trump and
you telling me you got the game for Xbox and the game is previously for PlayStation 4. Only for PlayStation.
You saying good, but you ain't asked why he called.
I just don't get it though. These are educated people. These aren't people who don't know what science is.
And then I went by there on the first, right? On the first, right? On the Friday.
Ways we can help stop this
virus,
which would ultimately
be a political win. I found the game. It was right there.
This virus under control?
The very nice one.
Yeah, well, I think most of these members of Congress are either not up for election
they are.
in the Senate.
And then I told the man about the one that what that mama.
If
I do, I said I called y'all and then. They said that they didn't have the game.
One of the political analysts called it low information voters, which is
he said, I don't know who told you that. Yeah, I said, I know y'all get the game when it first come out. And they said, yeah, we do.
And for most of these Republican members of Congress, they'll get reelected because, Rush and Fox News and Sean Hannity push, quack science and criticize masks. The problem is,
if you call me and say, do you got that game right here? And say, I say, what second make it on?
At the national level, that's going to be on Donald Trump, and that's
what the name of the game?
Very difficult
I
to
say,
see
they say, probably say, oh, I'm looking for
to get ready to be reelected.
WWE 2K
Friday. Has tried a more somber tone about the pandemic, and yet he used one briefing this week to complain that his top experts, Fauci,
you know who that was?
Are more popular than he.
That's my cousin. My cousin.
He's got this high approval rating, so why don't I have a high approval rating with respect, and the administration with respect to the virus? So it's curious. A man who works with us, for Dr. Fauci, and Dr. Berkeley, so highly and yet they're highly voted, but nobody likes me.
I'm not a fan of Joe, though, man. I'm not a fan of Joe. I don't believe it, though, to tell you the truth.
Well, I don't know that his personality helps, but I think the reason that the country's rejecting him is he's failed to do his job and failed to keep people safe in this country. There are really kind of two campaigns you can run if you're running for president. One is you run on your record as an incumbent, or two, you run against the other person and you attack their character or their abilities. The problem with Trump is he's such a narcissist, he can't do the second campaign because he has to make it about himself. And that really has created a vicious cycle for him where, every once in a while he'll have a new tone and everyone will sit up and take notice. But he goes right back to sort of this self-indulgent, self-absorbed, kind of whining child that feels aggrieved because everyone doesn't love him and everyone doesn't recognize what a wonderful job he's doing. He's not, and the public gets that.
Quickly, if you will, was it a smart move for them to bring back the briefings with the president?
I think it was a smart move for them to communicate to their base. Their base won't get them elected. The briefings are a disaster among swing voters, moderate Democrats, more liberal conservatives. And I think, again, we'll look back on this as one of the more disastrous decisions that they made.
Joe Lockhart, as always, good to have you here. Thank you.
Thanks, Anna.
Wish you and your family good health. This is the new reality now for millions of Americans lining up at food banks to get a meal. We're live in Los Angeles next.
And then what happened, Daddy?
Well, see this handsome man? His name is William. And William fell in love with Rose, and they had a kid. His name is Charles. And Charles met Martha. Isn't she pretty? Yeah.
So I'm brand new to all this.
I'll show them interested, but not too needy.
How do I do less texting? Can you make the first move? I mean, he's like really cute.
I have 1,000 more questions.
Match experts have the answers. Start something great. Match.
Today we're facing a serious threat. We have to meet it as one country. Numbers don't lie. The infection rates are now going up in more states than they're going down. We gotta fight this together. Wear a mask. Keep your distance. Limit the size of crowds. It may be inconvenient. It may be uncomfortable. But it's the right thing to do as an American. We need a president who will level with the American people. President will tell us the unvarnished truth. President will take responsibility instead of always blaming others. President will listen to the experts, follow the science, allow them to speak. President will lead, be an example for the nation. We have to do all we can to keep our fellow Americans safe and healthy. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
If you have moderate to severe psoriasis or psoriatic arthritis, little things can become your big moment. That's why there's Otezla. Otezla is not an injection or a cream. It's a pill that treats differently. For psoriasis, 75% clearer skin is achievable with reduced redness, thickness, and scaliness of plaques. For psoriatic arthritis, Otezla is proven to reduce joint swelling, tenderness, and pain. And the Otezla prescribing information has no requirement for routine lab monitoring. Don't use if you're allergic to Otezla. It may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Otezla is associated with an increased risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts, or if these feelings develop. Some people taking Otezla reported weight loss. Your doctor should monitor your weight and may stop treatment. Upper respiratory tract infection and headache may occur. Tell your doctor about your medicines and if you're pregnant or planning to be. Otezla. Show more of you.
United Shades of America always puts space for difficult conversations. This season is more important than ever.
The United States Department of Agriculture, the last plantation.
What does it mean that a zip code can tell you so much more about where a child is going to end up?
To me, reparations, I said, I had to pay you for something. I never owned slaves. You didn't have to.
This system is not just not built for us, it's built against us, and it's not broken. United Shades of America with W. Kamau Bell. Tomorrow at 10, only on CNN.
Hey, can you adjust my strap? Girl, you need Lively. Mom, you need Lively. Babe, you need Lively. Join the crew at wearelively.com.
It's about being healthier, not the healthiest. It's about saying no to preservatives and yes to preserving yourself. It's about food that feeds you, not just fills you. It's Daily Harvest. Get started today at dailyharvest.com.
Promotional products may not be able to talk, but you can be certain they're saying a lot in a language that's beyond words. Like, thank you for all you do. We value your partnership and welcome back. The right products say a lot about you, your team, and your brand. And 4imprint speaks their language. So when your message matters, count on the certainty of 4imprint. Explore thousands of promotional products at 4imprint.com. 4imprint, for certain.
I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, and this is CNN.
Closed captioning brought to you by mesobook.com.
We offer a free book on mesothelioma. Call for the free book and receive so much more. Call 1-800-831-3700.
More than 500,000 cases of COVID-19. That is just in California. No other state has that many cases. California recorded 219 COVID-related deaths in the past 24 hours. That is the most reported deaths in a single day in the state. Health officials, especially in Southern California, reporting record daily numbers of people needing to be hospitalized. And here's where new cases of the coronavirus are spiking right now in the state. The hottest spots are around Los Angeles, stretching to the southern border, as you can see. And CNN's Paul Verkaman is in Los Angeles right now. Paul, a lot of people in LA are taking advantage of a food donation program this weekend. And the timing, of course, is a big issue because the virus is not letting up clearly. But a federal unemployment benefit that millions of people have been relying on is now gone.
That's exactly right. And a lot of people are talking about that as they wait in line to pick up their food. You can see the volunteers working feverishly in this heat. One thing that they're well aware of is they want to get many of the seniors in line their box of food without making them stand too long. But some people started here as early as midnight, and throughout the line, what you discussed, that tension over paycheck protection going away, over people being unemployed now for almost a half a year. Now, if you look right here, is Humberto. He has been out of work. He works in restaurant, dishwasher, cook. He's been out of work for 5 months. And what did it mean to you to get this box of food?
Okay? Yeah, why?
I'll go ahead and tell you, everybody, what you told me off camera. Humberto was saying to me that it was very important that he get this food because he just hasn't been working at all. As is the case with many people in this line today. This is the Koreatown section of Los Angeles, and Humberto thinks that that particular box, this is from the food bank with a lot of its partners, especially here at the Unitarian Church. They were able to get not just produce, but cheese and meat, a pre-cooked chicken, and a lot of these people are relying on this to tide them over until we hear more from Congress about whether there's going to be another relief package that will help these people who are unemployed, or just what. Also, rent protections going away for a lot of people. These are tough times, and they say here at the Unitarian Church they have never seen lines this long. They used to get a couple hundred people for this weekly food giveaway, and now they've increased to somewhere between 1,700 and 2,000 people at just this one food bank. And I should note that Food Bank Los Angeles says over the course of a month, they now think that they're giving away something like 900,000 meals. They used to average 300,000 meals. Back to you now, Anna.
All of that is powerful, Paul. Hopefully, our leaders on Capitol Hill are paying attention. We know there are ongoing talks this week, and thank you for that reporting. Now, those food lines are the real implications of a devastated American economy right now. The U.S. just saw its worst economic quarter in history, with a staggering drop in GDP that wiped out 5 years of economic growth. This economic fallout has been felt across the country. More than 50% of American adults live in households that have lost income during this pandemic. And I want to bring in CNN's Christina Alessi. Christina, put these economic indicators in perspective for us. What do the numbers this week tell us?
The numbers this week tell us that the fear of permanent damage to the U.S. economy is well-founded. Now, we expected a terrible GDP report, 9.5% decrease over the 3 months of the second quarter on an annualized basis. That worked out to 33%, worst on record, and that was because of the dramatic drop-off in consumer spending that we saw because of the shutdowns when they were most acute in April and May. But more concerning than the GDP figures from my standpoint in reporting on this is the unemployment claims data that we got this week that shows that 1.4 million additional Americans applied for jobless benefits, unemployment benefits for the first time. In total, you're talking about 30 million Americans that are collecting some form of unemployment. At this point, Anna, this is a very real indicator that the job market is not getting better, and at this point in the crisis, there was a lot of hope that at least the job losses would be stabilizing. It's unclear if that's going to happen, and then you reference the U.S. Census data that half of adults are now living in households they say that have seen their income reduced dramatically by over a half since the start of this pandemic. All of this is creating tremendous anxiety for U.S. workers across the country, Anna.
Yeah, anxiety and just the ability to survive is an issue. Obviously, there's still no deal on Capitol Hill for an additional stimulus package, meaning that additional $600 weekly in unemployment benefits has expired now. Here is what Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said earlier today about negotiations.
A million people are without food. You don't say, let's compromise and give 500,000 people food. If there are a million people, a million small businesses hurting, you don't compromise and say, we're only going to help half of them. But on the other hand, we had really, it was the best discussions we've had so far. And I call it progress, but a ways to go.
It doesn't sound good. What is the impact of no deal? What do you expect?
Let me be clear about this, Anna. If there is no deal, we will have a double-dip recession in the U.S. And I think that most people on Capitol Hill and in the White House are fully aware of that. Behind the trajectory of the virus itself, U.S. federal fiscal stimulus is the most important driver of economic activity, period, full stop, during this period of time. And one of the most contentious issues has been the extension of enhanced unemployment benefits. Those 30 million Americans I spoke to you about that are collecting some sort of unemployment from the government, well, a good chunk of those people, a good portion of those people may see a material impact, a reduction in their income if Congress does not come through with an extension of that $600, which, by the way, as we all know, expired this week. So a lot of those people know that they're not going to have more money coming through in the weeks ahead until this deal gets done, and it's astounding that it has not been done already, Anna.
A lot of people are hurting right now. Christina Alessi, thank you for your reporting. Coming up, the difference a zip code can make when it comes to education. W. Kamau Bell takes us back to school.
Chances are you have some questions right now. Here are a couple answers. Lysol disinfectant spray and disinfecting wipes together can be used on over 100 surfaces. 99% of viruses and bacteria. Unfortunately, we can't answer every question you have right now. Lysol, what it takes to protect. When you take Align, you have the support of a probiotic and the gastroenterologist who developed it. Align naturally helps to soothe your occasional digestive upsets 24/7. So where you go, the pro goes. Go with Align, the pros in digestive health. And if stress worsens your digestive issues, try new Align Digestive De-Stress. It combines Align's probiotic with ashwagandha to help soothe occasional digestive upsets, plus stress that can make them worse. And try Align Gummies with probiotics to help support digestive health.
You're talking about a first-generation American from the streets of the Imperial Valley who rose to beat the odds. She worked nights and weekends until she earned herself a master's degree. She was running in a marathon when a man behind her collapsed from cardiac arrest, and using her experience saved this man's life. So why do I think there should be more people like Kermit Bravo in this world? Because that man was me.
Mom's gonna kill us.
Gorilla Super Glues. Of course, Gorilla has a fix for every project. Original brush and nozzle and ultra controlled gel with the toughest jobs on planet Earth. My hair loss was a reminder of my age. When I started first seeing results, I got excited. It makes me feel younger. The things I love about Roman are the simplicity, the confidentiality, and the fact that it works.
Are you older and need a helping hand? Perhaps a larger size? Or have an aching back and just can't get up? Well, now there's Liberty Lift from Bell & Howell. The new, patented, ergonomically designed lift assist. So now you can safely get your loved one out of the couch or chair in seconds. Simply grip and walk back. Liberty Lift gives you the power to lift even much bigger people quickly and easily. Now you'll never have to worry about hurting yourself or loved one when lending a hand. And it's great for rehabilitation as well. Now you can get up and get on your way to recovery. Liberty Lift gives you the freedom and stability to enjoy your company worry-free. The secret is in the unique scientific design, which uses the physics of leverage, along with your own body weight to increase your lifting potential. Liberty Lift also features a textured handle for a no-slip grip, adding extra confidence and safety to every use, which means getting out of the car becomes much, much easier. And in case of a fall, Liberty Lift is perfect to help out immediately.
I was nervous about lifting my husband off the sofa. I didn't want to hurt myself. And worst of all, I didn't want to drop him. Now I have the confidence of getting him up to his feet or out the door.
Liberty Lift gives anyone the freedom to sit anywhere they want, knowing anyone can help them up.
I always have to be careful where I step. Now I can sit anywhere I want. And anyone can help me out.
Stop paying thousands for electric chairs and enjoy the independence of Liberty Lift. Call or log on today and get the Bell & Howell Liberty Lift for the low, low price of only $19.99, and we'll ship it to you free. Liberty Lift comes with a lifetime guarantee. Get your Liberty Lift for only $19.99. This offer is not available in stores, so you must order now. To order, call 1-800-393-2745. That's 1-800-393-2745, or order online at buylibertylift.com.
If there's one thing laid bare by the closing of schools, it's that gaping inequities still exist in public education. And on tomorrow night's brand new episode of United Shapes of America, W. Kamau Bell visits two neighboring but very different Ohio suburbs to find out why there's such a wide achievement gap between African American and white students. There's a preview.
To understand where students are going, you have to know where they come from. Right, I want to know, what does it mean that a zip code can tell you so much more about where a child is going to end up than any other fact that you can learn about that child. We need to make sure that we understand not just the differences between students' test scores and all that kind of stuff. We need to understand how inequality works and how it's localized in their neighborhoods and schools. I was admitted to George Washington Carver Middle School, and the assistant principal saw me fooling around with two of my best friends. She walked up to me and said, "You don't have the potential to be a Carver Wright." That's what you say to a kid. No. What was funny about that is that they created an award for the best student in the school my 8th grade year because of things that I did, and she had to hand it to me.
Kamal Bell joins us now. And Kamal, what did you find? What are some of the biggest factors contributing to the achievement gap between African American and white students in this country?
You know, we're one of the only developed nations that funds our public schools in large part by the taxes collected in the district that school is in. So therefore, if you're in a district that doesn't have a huge tax base, then you're not going to have schools that are as good. And a lot of times, black folks live in districts that don't have huge tax bases.
The elementary school you visited in East Cleveland is taking a more holistic approach to education to try to close that gap, I understand. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we were Maker Elementary in East Cleveland, and they start the day by talking to the students and saying, how are you doing today? I mean, it seems like a small thing, but they sit the kids down in a circle. They know before they get the kids started on what they need to learn. They know a lot of those kids walk into school with a lot of things on their mind. They have a lot of problems, so I sat in a circle with them to find out just what are they thinking about before school even starts.
Building trust and that relationship, you know, that is a really important part of childhood development, too. In contrast, you also visited a high school in nearby Shaker Heights, an affluent suburb of Cleveland, and despite that school having a diverse student body and a wealth of resources, there was still a significant achievement gap between African American and white students. Why does that still exist, and what are they doing to address it?
I mean, yeah, a lot of times in America, we want to think it's about money and about putting more money into situations, and that helps a lot of times. But if you don't actually address the root of the problem, which is systemic racism, you're not going to actually solve the problems, especially if they affect black folks, people of color, and indigenous folks. And so they have special programs in that school to address the black kids in that school to help them get ahead. They know it's not just about having a fancy school, it's actually about meeting the students where they are.
And their backgrounds do influence what they are able to, you know, start with in terms of the base that they have going into school. And they may need a little bit more support. Of all the students and teachers that you talked to for this episode, what did they tell you they need most to make schools and students of all races successful?
You know, I talked to Monique Davis, who's a teacher at the high school, we went to Shaw High School, and we actually talked since then, because we talked since COVID hit. And we talked about basically one of the things we talk about defunding the police is actually funding the schools. And it's not about, again, it's not just about dropping money on it, but it is about going to those schools and knowing what do you specifically need that may be separate from what other schools need that will help your students succeed. So it's in that same conversation with funding the police.
I'm so glad you're having this conversation and showcasing this issue. Kamal Bell, thank you for all of your work. And his brand new episode of United Shades with America airs tomorrow night at 10 right here on CNN. It's barely just begun, but now reports the commissioner of Major League Baseball is warning he could end the season as more and more players test positive.
Verizon knows how to build unlimited right. You start with the network J.D. Power is named the most awarded for network quality 25 times in a row.
This network is one less thing I have to worry about.
Then give people more plans to mix and match. You only pay for what you need.
That is so cool.
Include the best in entertainment. And offer it all starting at $35. The iPhone everyone wants. iPhone 11 Pro on us when you buy one. Because everyone deserves the best. This is unlimited built right. Only on Verizon.
So we got pregnant with our daughter in 2016. Then we kind of realized that we needed a regular babysitter.
At Care.com, you can find a babysitter or nanny who's just right for you. Join now, Care.com.
Cover it up. That's what I did when I started menstruating. Now I use Keeps, the easiest way for me to keep my hair. Keeps sends me clinically proven treatments that can't cut my hair loss, which means no more covering up. Go to Keeps.com to learn more.
This is PillPack. It's my new pharmacy. They package my medication by the dose and deliver it right to my door. And the best part, their service is free. I only pay my copay. Does your pharmacy do that?
PillPack by Amazon Pharmacy.
Tempur-Pedic's mission is to give you truly transformative sleep. So no more tossing and turning, because only Tempur-Pedic's proprietary material adapts in response to your body, so you get deep, uninterrupted sleep. Experience our top-selling Tempur Adapt, now only $19.99.
Attention! Do you have Medicare? Did you know that you may qualify to get $135 added back to your Social Security check every month? It's easy to see if you're eligible. Just call the Go Medicare Benefits Help Center at 800-896-1130. In addition to receiving $135 every month, you might also qualify for a $0 Medicare Advantage plan that includes the following benefits: dental, including fillings, exams, and dentures; vision, including exams, frames, lenses, and even contacts; hearing, including hearing aids and batteries; and prescription drug coverage, all at no additional cost. The Go Medicare Benefits Help Center is open now at 800-896-1130. Both the call and the consultation are 100% free with absolutely no obligation to enroll. Call the Go Medicare Benefits Help Center now at 800-896-1130. That's 800-896-1130.
Nice car, not so nice scratch. Wouldn't it be nice if removing ugly scratches from your car was this easy? Now with new Finish Scratch Doctor, removing surface scratches is easy. In fact, independent laboratory tests have proven Scratch Doctor to be the best scratch remover available. Scratch Doctor with advanced microtechnology also removes paint scrapes, scuffs, haze, and swirl marks. So get Scratch Doctor.
#1 rated Scratch Doctor, available at Advance Auto, Walgreens, Ace, Target, AutoZone, Walmart, and other leading stores.
Tomorrow morning, authoritarianism on the rise around the globe. Could it really come to America? Fareed talks to author and historian Anne Applebaum. Fareed Zakaria, GPS. Live tomorrow morning at 10.
Follow your French bulldog in the America era went to my life. I never really liked food. When he like 10 o'clock at night, he was like, oh, I guess I don't want to starve. He was having to bring out and putting the two or two together, what you put in your body when you get out. I know if I'm eating processed food, I'm not going to do that. So that kind of led me to stop. Immediately, his skin issues went away. I love that they're doing it. Starting portion down, eating full food. It's amazing. Visit BetterFarm.com and discover your doc's recommended meal plan.
Helping families with mesothelioma is all we do. My firm has been offering a free book on mesothelioma for over 10 years. Since that time, hundreds of people with mesothelioma have trusted us to represent them. We have local offices throughout the U.S. and there is no risk to you. Mesothelioma really is all we do. Call us at 1-800-789-3737. That's 1-800-789-3737. Or go to mesobook.com. The United States of America with Vivian Malvell. Tomorrow at 10. Only on CNN.
It could be game over for Major League Baseball in 2020. ESPN reporting the commissioner just warned the head of the Players Union that he could shut down the season if teams don't do a better job following coronavirus protocols. Just today, the league postponed the game between the St. Louis Cardinals and Milwaukee Brewers after more Cardinals tested positive for COVID-19. CNN's Martin Savage reports.
Sports leagues are using shortened seasons, bubbles, team sequestering, and rapid testing to let the games begin.
What a connection!
Could the winners and losers teach us something? Take baseball. Already a number of games are on hold as more than 20 members of the Miami Marlins tested positive for coronavirus. Players aren't sequestered and teams travel to outbreak hotspots. The Washington Nationals were so concerned about going to Florida, they put it to a vote.
We all decided that it was probably unsafe to go there.
Friday, the Cardinals-Brewers game postponed after two members of the St. Louis team tested positive. Meanwhile, the National Hockey League and the National Basketball Association have opted for a different approach, keeping participants in a closed environment where they live, practice, and play their games. The bubble. So far, so good. During training camp, the NHL tested more than 800 players. There were 2 positive the first week and none the second. The teams now face off in 2 secure zones in Edmonton and Toronto, Canada.
We are feeling good about the fact that we've got a contained environment. In fact, one player was quoted as saying from the bubble that this is the safest he's felt since the middle of March.
At the NBA bubble in Orlando, where the season resumed Thursday, they're also declaring success. The league says only 2 players inside the bubble have tested positive, and that was over 2 weeks ago.
In essence, everyone is tested on a nightly basis, and they, as a practical matter, don't leave their room until they have the results the next morning.
Still to come, football. The NFL says it takes safety seriously, reconfiguring locker rooms, reducing travel schedules, doing away with preseason games. But like baseball, the NFL is allowing players and staff to go home, increasing the risk of getting infected. In an open letter, Commissioner Roger Goodell wrote, In a year that's been extraordinarily difficult for our country and the world, we hope that the energy of this moment will provide some much-needed optimism. But growing numbers of NFL players opting out of the 2020 season would seem to indicate they don't share that optimism. So, what have sports taught us? Pretty much what we already knew, that quarantine and ample access to testing is a winning strategy. Martin Sapp, CNN, Atlanta.
Thanks, Martin. Now, the Navajo Nation's coronavirus infection rates have been among the highest per capita in America, with Navajo elders dying at an alarming rate. CNN hero Linda Myers has spent decades supporting elders. The deaths are devastating and personal for her, and now she and her team have ramped up efforts to bring life-saving help to the most isolated and vulnerable on the reservation.
Losing Navajo elders is a piece of history, a piece of culture. They hold the light for their families. They carry on the traditions, the ceremony, the language, the weaving, the feeling. The loss for us is personal. We're connected to these elders. We've known them for 35 years. We've sent $225,000 worth of food certificates, thousands of masks, and yarn bundles to our elders to help them sustain themselves in their traditional way. Starting in August and September, our real goal is to deliver all the supplies to make sure we help them as winter starts. We're not stopping now, we're continuing.
To learn more about Linda's heroic work and the threat that COVID-19 poses to the Navajo Nation, and to find out how you can help, go to cnnheroes.com. We'll be right back.
CNN Heroes, brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes Subaru, Subaru.
Jack was one of 6 million pets in animal shelters in need of a home. He found it in a boy with special needs, who also needed him. As part of our Love Promise, Subaru and our retailers host adoption events and have donated $28 million to support local animal shelters. We're proud to have helped over 230,000 pets so far, changing the lives of dogs like Jack and the families who adopt them. Subaru, more than a car company.
If stress worsens your digestive issues, try new Align Digestive De-Stress. It combines Align's probiotic with ashwagandha to help soothe occasional digestive upsets, plus stress that can make them worse. Align Digestive De-Stress from the pros in digestive health.
Find things you need and love and use every day on Etsy. Shop Etsy for everyday finds.
Try Wayfair. You got it.
You're welcome. I love it. How did you do all this?
Told ya. Wayfair. Let's talk dining tables. Yes. Wayfair, you got just what I need.
At University of Phoenix, we know you're always there for them. That's why our advisors are always there for you. Learn more at phoenix.edu.
Did you just reward yourself for spending a perfectly reasonable amount of time on the couch with tacos from Grubhub? Grubhub's gonna reward you for that with a $5 off perk.
Are dull headlights limiting your vision? Restore them with Rust-Oleum White New. Easily increase visibility with this award-winning formula. Wipe on long-lasting clarity. Wipe on ceramic protection. Wipe on guaranteed results. Rust-Oleum White New Headlight Restore. See the difference.
Promotional products certainly say a lot in a language that's beyond words. Like thank you for all you do and welcome back. 4imprint speaks their language. So explore thousands of promotional products at 4imprint.com. 4imprint, for certain.
Okay, it was an accident.
He was tickling me.
Yeah.
Whoops. But Julie has Resolve Pet Expert. Its latest formula attacks odors at the source.
No odor, no stain, no nothing.
Whatever happens, no big deal. Resolve. So here's the thing.
I'm actually closer to my retirement days than I am my college days. I just want to know, am I going to be okay?
I know people who specialize in am I going to be okay? They may need glasses, though.
Guidance to help you stay on track.
Hey, I'm Anderson Cooper. I'm excited to let you know that my digital show, Full Circle, is coming back Monday, August 3rd, 6 p.m. live. You can watch it then or anytime on demand, and you get alerts on every episode via the CNN app. I'll see you there.
Staying home? There's never been a better time to stock up on Omaha Steaks. Announcing the Omaha Steaks stock-up sale. For a limited time, get naturally aged, hand-cut, grain-fed Omaha Steaks shipped free right to your doorstep. Plus all your favorites, from burgers, chicken, pork, to sides and desserts. In stock and ready to ship. All 100% money-back guaranteed. All without leaving home. Shop our stock-up sale. Plus get free shipping when you shop omahasteaks.com/TV.
Selling a home is expensive and stressful. So we set out to create a better home selling experience with a network of the most successful real estate agents in America. They'll sell your home for as little as a 2% commission.
Yes. We saved $12,000 in commission.
They were so stress-free. The whole process was amazing, and I would definitely recommend it.
We are not a discount program. These are top local agents that will get you the best results.
Coronavirus. Get daily news updates. Sign up for the CNN newsletter.
Closed captioning brought to you by mesobook.com.
We offer a free book on mesothelioma. Call for the free book and receive so much more. Call 1-800-831-3700.
This is CNN Breaking News.
We're live in the CNN newsroom. I'm Ana Cabrera in New York. As if a pandemic weren't enough to deal with, the people of Florida are now bracing for a hurricane. A federal disaster declaration has been issued for the state as Hurricane Isaias gets closer and closer to the coastline. We're live from Palm Beach in just a moment. And breaking news from Capitol Hill, another member of Congress testing positive for the coronavirus. Arizona Democrat Raul Grijalva is self-quarantining now at his home in Washington, D.C. Grijalva was in a hearing just a few days ago with Texas Republican Louis Gohmert, who also tested positive this week after he repeatedly refused to wear a mask. In the meantime, the CDC is now predicting at least 20,000 more people in the United States will die of COVID-19 in the next 3 weeks, possibly as many as 30,000. New cases and deaths are on the rise nationwide this weekend, despite most states readjusting their back-to-business plans. We just learned a short time ago that California recorded 219 COVID-related deaths in the past 24 hours. That is the most reported deaths in a single day in that state. And from the world of sports, reports that tonight's game between the St. Louis Cardinals and Milwaukee Brewers has been postponed after more Cardinals tested positive. It comes a day after the Major League Baseball commissioner warned a shortened season could be shut down altogether. First to Florida, though, the current epicenter of the coronavirus pandemic, where at least 7 million people could be now in the path of Hurricane Isaias. Easy for me to say. Randy Kay is standing by in Palm Beach County, but let's get the forecast first with meteorologist Chad Myers in the CNN Weather Center. Chad, what can we expect from Isaias?
You know, so far, it has been the underachiever of the lifetime, where Hannah was so big and so bad so quickly. This thing has run into dry air, and it has really fallen apart. That's the good news. We're going to get a new update at 5 p.m. to see what the Hurricane Hunter finds under that. Even though the satellite picture looks horrible, doesn't mean that the radar isn't going and the storm isn't breathing. Still have some winds out here in Nassau. Had some people running up and down the beach in Fort Lauderdale when a first squall hit this morning. They all ran for cover. Are listening to some scanners up and down the beach. They're saying tens of thousands of people are still on these beaches. It looks like the 4th of July out there. Well, we need to get away from these beaches at some point in time. Maybe not tonight, but certainly tomorrow. Here come the first squalls in Fort Lauderdale into Miami. You will see winds somewhere around 75 miles per hour. That's what a hurricane means. That's why there's a hurricane warning up and down the East Coast. Even though it may be a 65 mile per hour storm right now, it's headed into the Gulf Stream. And the Gulf Stream is the warm water that comes out of the Gulf of Mexico. And it could be right up to 100, I would say, easy 80 mile per hour 5-hour storm with 100-mile-per-hour gusts by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. If it gets into this warm water and it takes over, it really energizes it. So that's where our Randy K will be somewhere tomorrow morning. Now, if this thing goes to the left a little bit, I don't think an 8 a.m. approach to the coast. I think maybe like a 5 a.m. approach to the coast, and that would be significantly farther south than where Randy is right now, and that would be somewhere in the Miami-Dade area, you know, Broward County. If it continues to kind of slide to the left, all the models are sliding to the left.
Okay, Chad, keep us posted. Thank you. Now to Randy K. In rainy Palm Beach County, Florida, the state already struggling to control the COVID-19 outbreak. Now they're facing this hurricane. Randy, bring us up to speed. What's happening there?
We are in Palm Beach County, as you said, one of 12 counties in the state of Florida under a state of emergency. And just a couple hours ago, Anna, we were on this same beach. There were people sunning themselves. If you take a look now at the water over there, if you pan off and take a look, you can see how rough the seas have gotten. You can see that the high tide is certainly coming in. There isn't really anybody on the beach except for a couple surfers that are now packing up. But in Palm Beach County, they knew this was coming, so they quickly opened some emergency shelters this morning, 6 emergency shelters. In fact, we got some video of some people who were arriving there this morning. Those shelters are in high schools. They're hoping that people can safely social distance. The last hurricane here, they had 17,000 people go to shelters. They're not sure what to expect this time around. But with COVID, of course, the governor is saying that he hopes to open up some hotel rooms for people who are symptomatic, so they don't have to go to the regular shelters. They can safely quarantine in some hotel rooms. And the Division of Emergency Management is also saying that they would like to see no more than 50 people in shelters in these conditions, and they also want temperature checks. They want 60 square feet per person. But of course, with these winds and these rains that are now starting to come through here, I mean, it is definitely getting bad. We know that we're expecting some power outages as well. Florida Power and Light is saying that they expect widespread outages. In fact, they have about 10,000 personnel working this. They brought in some people from Texas and Georgia, in fact, but they know that it's going to take some delays because we're going to have to withstand some delays because they have to still sanitize equipment. They will have to do temperature checks for the workers as well, so it's definitely going to take some time if we lose power. The other concern is the nursing homes and the long-term care facilities. The governor is saying that the state is prepared for them, that they all have generators, because you may recall back in 2017, Anna, during Hurricane Irma, we had 14 people die in a nursing home here in southern Florida, and that 12 of them, the medical examiner said, was from heat exposure. So that is certainly a concern and good news that we have the generators at these nursing homes. But the conditions certainly starting to worsen here. On back to you.
Okay, Randy K., just stay safe. Thank you for your report. Chad Myers, our thanks to you. Joining us now, CNN medical analyst and public health specialist, Dr. Saju Matthew. Dr. Matthew, we know testing sites in Florida are having to close down. They're going to be closed through at least Tuesday, if not longer, because of this impending storm. How might that complicate the already dire situation in that state?
It's so tough for Floridians right now, Anna. It's bad enough to experience this high positivity rates of between 18 and 20%. And now we're talking about this bad weather, which will close or definitely halt some of the testing. Listen, ultimately we talk about how important testing is, especially in a state like Florida. I also worry about shelters where people are going to be accumulating in tight spaces. I think about the 2 P's when I think about closed spaces, Anna, which is proximity and prolonged contact. When I think about the filtration, the air system in these shelters. So hopefully everybody will be given a mask, and they will limit the number of people, as our reporter mentioned, in these shelters.
We know the governor and the State Department of Emergency Management is sending 10,000 PPE kits to those shelters. Hopefully that gets there in time. You and other doctors, I know, have been very eager to see test results come back to people much faster, but Admiral Jawad, the Trump administration's testing czar, testified yesterday that having results back in 2 or 3 days is just not a possible benchmark right now. We've all known about this virus since January. What is keeping this country from getting testing right?
Lack of a national strategy, and I can't help but think that a few months ago, South Korea and the United States had the same number of deaths. They have 300 today, and we have over 150,000 deaths and counting. we never started this whole strategy correctly, and unfortunately, without the whole national strategy of testing and mandating masks, something that is so simple, we know that if people, 95% of Americans wear masks, within a couple of weeks, we can cut down the viral load. Also, social distancing. We know that within 2 to 3 weeks, if everybody's socially distanced, we can really work on getting this virus down, even
feel that way,
without a vaccine.
Tried and true solution there. The CDC says a COVID-19 outbreak at a Georgia sleepaway camp in the morning of what happened when schools reopened. We have learned more than 200 attendees got sick. Over baby days after taking the state's recommended measures.
I told him I already talked to him in a while.
Oh, you should have told me he said when he called that time.
At this camp, what is the biggest takeaway here for
You told me he said.
Two big
What did he say to you,
takeaways. Number one, we know that with 600 kids and over 50% of kids between ages 6 and 10 turning positive, we know how transmissible this virus is amongst kids. We also have studies to show that kids can transmit the virus to adults. So really, ultimately, it's not data
Tell that fool.
we all transmit the virus. Just think about the cold and flu season. One kid can infect an entire class within hours or days. So really, schools should really take this as a big question mark and pause and really decide, is this the right time, especially in a state like Georgia, Anna, where I am, where the viral count is so high and the positivity rate is greater than 10%.
Vaccine trials are moving into the final testing phase, thank goodness. Here's Dr. Fauci with a very optimistic message on Friday, saying he doesn't think it's a dream, that a vaccine could be ready by the end of this year or early 2021. Listen.
Believe it will occur. I know to some people this seems like it is so fast that there might be compromising safety and scientific integrity. And I can tell you that's absolutely not the case. The rapidity with which we're doing it is as a result of very different technologies.
Doctor, do you share that confidence in the timeline? And if so, how effective should we expect this vaccine to be?
So those are the big questions that we will find out now that we're moving to phase 3. A couple of vaccines are now starting. This is crunch time. 30,000 people. We're going to be looking at people between 18 and 65. And we've got a whole bunch of questions that we have to answer at the end of this 2-year, if you will, trial, which is number one. Will it be safe in the elderly? Can, like my parents, take this vaccine safely? How long will it last? Is this a vaccine where we have to get a shot like the flu vaccine every single year? We do know that from the earlier trials that antibodies, the good antibodies, the neutralizing antibodies were produced.
Okay, but who all came in the party?
Enough to where the body is mounting a response.
Who all been to the party?
Optimism like Dr. Fauci, I'm going to go one step further on a post that we
Okay, you still watching my broadcast, wait?
vaccine that works.
I share your
Sorry about that, but I want a phone.
There's also some new research I want to get your take on. It suggests some people might have COVID-19 even
Oh, so you want a phone too?
Really interesting study. I'm always excited when I talk about something. Show me your fear.
Oh.
So here is the deal. Coronavirus is a family of
Come on. Sorry. Nope. Nope. Wrong choice. Oh, what? Come on, man. Oh, well. I get it that time.
Thank you, Anna.
Coming up, CNN Gary Tucker takes us to the first day of school on a district in Georgia, which decided to open its classroom doors without a full mask mandate and despite the concerns of parents and children. And the emotion is very raw and real.
So wait. See me playing the game, what you think about the game so far? Caught up. Okay, fine.
Are you currently using a whitening from Facebook non-stain results? Try Crest 3D White Strips. Its enamel-safe formula lifts and removes stains to provide 100% noticeably whiter teeth. Or if you're going back, try Crest 3D White Strips.
Dang. Keep backing up, wait.
After
his middle school career in this most unusual worried about my son going to school. There's a way there was at least one student not going. He's going to school.
I did it. What? Wait. Wait, is it Bud?
Just up the road, high school, students gathering and hugging like they would any during the first day. Many of them wearing masks, but just as many, if not more, all thought out wearing face coverings. At the elementary school, parents dropping off their children, most of whom seem to have masks. Fact is, while masks are mandated on the district's school buses for students and drivers, there is no mandate for mask wearing in the actual schools for students or teachers. The Jefferson City Board of Education has many guidelines in place designed to keep students safe.
No.
Are handed out.
Actually learning them is not good for you.
Follow that with child. High school seniors hope to
I saw a child just last night from two sides steps.
So they started an online petition asking the Board of Education to mandate masks.
I'm scared for not myself, but for other teachers that are for elderly and starving. And then the people that you could be bringing it home to, some people live with their grandparents, some people that are
She was built in freedom. In response to that petition, sophomore Brett Kelly started his own with the support of his older high school sister and his father. His petition declaring mask wearing should be a choice.
I think it's a freedom issue because it's slowly taking our rights away.
Would you feel less than understanding something you without that mask or outside? The district superintendent did not want to talk on camera, but down in the college is in the state, they have confidence in their plans. And regarding masks, we are following the guidelines established by the CDC and Georgia Department of Public Health in recommending the use of face coverings as one effective measure.
Face buster!
They have 5% of Jefferson school
This is going to be the greatest election disaster in history.
It's slippery. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you use less.
Hey, look.
Now, the quicker picker up.
Summer scorching heat. It was freezing. Quickly animals running out of time. And that is these dogs need is great blood and nutrition. Please help save them by going online all this summer with your gift of just $19. Your support today. Rescue more animals who are suffering this summer. Visit joinaspca.org on any every time I come to one of these long
Tuck down, Anita.
Closed captioning brought to you by MessoBook.com.
Ready? We offer a free book on so much more.
President Trump continues to push his unfounded claims about mail-in voting.
This is going to be the greatest election disaster in history. I know you guys like to talk about Russia and China and other places. They'll be able to forge ballots, they'll forge it, they'll do whatever they have to do.
But on a closed-door House briefing yesterday, the president's own intelligence officials contradicted him. A source telling CNN that senior intelligence officials dismissed the possibility of foreign powers being able to interfere on a massive scale to produce and send fake ballots to voters and election authorities. Joining us now is CNN political commentator and former Clinton White House advisor, Paul Begala. And no, we're now 94 days away from Election Day. Paul, just how dangerous are the president's comments?
Well, they're very dangerous because it's practically part of our ability to have an election day and people's right to vote. He was musing earlier this week about postponing the election entirely. You know, this is the week, of course, where we recount Will's arrest. The Voting Rights Act was written in his blood. It was written because he was beaten almost to death in his bridge. So the right to vote is sacred. It's the most sacred thing in our democracy. And by the way, voting by mail is perfectly safe. It is immune from fraud. Just giving you one great story on this. In Colorado, if you all know voting by mail, Jefferson County, Denver, the biggest county, has 500 different styles of ballots. So just to affect one county, the Russians would have to forge 500 different styles of ballots. Then each ballot has a unique identifying number and a computer barcode that can only be read by that county's computer system.
and a security sleeve and a signature. I mean, it's absolutely foolproof. It's the safest way to vote. People need to vote. People should try to vote early and by mail if they can for their own health. And for the president, who's supposed to be leading a democracy, to be a board of democracy is a pretty awful thing.
There has been some significant bad election this issue of voter fraud when it comes to mail-in ballots or absentee ballots. Those two words being interchangeable essentially, but I just think it's worth pointing out that according to the comprehensive study of the public record detailing voter fraud in all U.S. elections between 2000 and 2012, for example, there were just 491 prosecutions for absentee ballot fraud. That tells us how rare it really is. Paul, some Republicans are now downplaying the president's tweet this week, suggesting the election should be delayed. In fact, we're learning that this is how one person responded. This is Senator John Cornyn of Texas. He said, I think it's a joke. Obviously, he doesn't have the power to do that. We've heard the president hint at this before, though.
Are you suggesting that you might not
Especially compared to that post-state tweet.
I think it's hypocrisy is the president has voted absentee himself in past elections, so has members of his own family. He didn't have to speak. This is what happened. When he tried to vote in 2004, he was turned away from one polling place after another in this Access Hollywood video.
Wherever you want us to go, where do we go? 520 Park Avenue. Okay, I like that location. All right, folks, how you doing? Make sure there's no cheating here, right?
They don't have it. He's not in my business.
All right, so it's not here, right? Hi, fellas. How are you? Yeah, my name is...
Fast forward to today, the president's been using for years are different from mail-in ballots.
Potential defeat instead of accepting it like a strong, decent person. He's riveting out and saying, well, we shouldn't have an election called communist leader of communist China. Free society will say, oh, that would be great. I would like to have it here. No democracy. It's okay for him to be a Democrat. That's their job. People need to know this. Best way to protect yourself, particularly if you do people to risk
he doesn't think Joe Biden that they didn't to spin his conspiracy theories and lie repeatedly. Biden doesn't need the surface of Trump's TikTok. He lowers himself stepping on the stand. What do you think?
I love Joe. I love him. Lockhart and I have been back together. We're brothers. I disagree on this one, though. Strongly. Vehemently. First off, Trump can get airtime anytime he wants. He's the most powerful, famous person on earth. Second, when you fire a president, we've only fired 4 presidents in the last 100 years. And I helped Bill Clinton do that in 1992. So when you do that, it's actually
actually not like the last election, which is an open seat, where it's just it's actually two different elections. First is a referendum of do we keep the president. Trump's winning that referendum. Voters are but then there's a status referendum. The person running against it, you know, I saw this Reagan by Bush, but they weren't sure that the young governor of the debates So I think it's essential. By the way, that Joe's a perfectly good debater. He calls all the funny Sanders. People who are much better debaters than Trump. I looked it up. The Gallup poll after the first debate was 61-27. Second debate was 35. The second debate was 31. You got to hey, you're going to get these he should just misogynistic comments, and yet he's Hillary in the face worrying about this. His name is William.
When you stay, you could drink as much sake as you like. It would be on the house.
Try the Golden Temple and then find refuge there.
Thank you.
Lets you see everything at a glance. Amazing. Tap now to get your battery daddy for just $19.99. And here's an electrifying deal. We'll include the battery tester, so you'll instantly know which batteries are bad and which are good, saving you time and money. Yours absolutely free. And the battery blues with Battery Daddy for just $19.99. Call now. To order, call 1-800-582-9862 or go online at batterydaddy.com. Don't delay, call 1-800-582-9862 or go online at batterydaddy.com. Order now.
Okay, it was an accident. He was tickling.
Yeah. Whoops.
But Julie has the Solve Pet Expert. Its latest formula attacks odors at the source.
No odor, no stain, no nothing.
Whatever happens, no big deal. Resolve.
I had a husband who was my bishop, but when he died, I knew I was in big trouble. At care.com, search for lots of local caregivers who can help with meals, housekeeping, personal care, and more. It costs less than you think, and it's easy to pay. Care.com.
TikTok users enjoy the app while you can, because as soon as today, sometime today, may be banned in the U.S. President Trump says he'll make it happen by using his executive order powers. At issue, critics have long warned data from American users would end up in the hands of the Chinese government. President Trump's threat comes as we learn Microsoft could be in talks to buy the Chinese-owned video app. CNN's Jeremy Dinan joins us at the White House. And so, Jeremy, does the president have the power to ban this app?
Well, the short answer on that is yes. It appears that the president does have the authority. The question is what exactly, what mechanism will the president use in order to ban TikTok from the United States, and whether they'll actually need to do it.
No, he ain't gonna ban from the United States. Can Microsoft pick it up? He ain't still gonna be United States.
There are several different mechanisms so far that it appears the president has used, from straight up executive order to using some international economic emergency powers that the president also has. What we do know, Anna, is that there has been this ongoing national security investigation into TikTok and its Chinese owner, ByteDance. Of course, there are these reports that Microsoft is in talks to buy the U.S. operations of TikTok. That appeared to be where things were headed yesterday, with the president essentially signing an order that would force the sale of TikTok, of the U.S. operations of TikTok, to an American company. But the president last night said straight up that he wants TikTok to be banned, and he expressed some concerns and really didn't seem to be quite pleased about the possibility of Microsoft buying this company. So it really appears quite uncertain as to where things are headed at this point. Now, the president suggested yesterday that he might do an executive order as early as today. Of course, as of now, nearly 5 o'clock, the president has yet to actually do that. We haven't heard any word from the White House on whether the president is going to move forward with that. Now, TikTok, for its part, has tried to dismiss those concerns from the United States about the safety of user data being in the hands of a Chinese-owned company. And they say in a statement, TikTok U.S. user data is stored in the U.S. with strict controls on employee access. TikTok's biggest investments come from the U.S. We are committed to protecting our users' privacy and safety as we continue working to bring joy to families and meaningful careers to those who create on our platform. Of course, Anna, all of this has to be considered in the broader context. The president has recently taken a much more hawkish stance toward China amid this coronavirus pandemic. Well, of course, this virus did originate in China, something that the president has been using politically to his benefit as he tries to deflect concerns from how he has handled the pandemic here in the United States. Of course, there is a broader U.S.-China fight, particularly in the technology space, that has existed for several years.
Let me ask you about this op-ed in the Washington Post today from Colonel Alexander Vindman, that critical witness from President Trump's impeachment inquiry. What's the takeaway?
That's right. Well, remember, Alex Vindman was a staffer at the National Security Council who was on the call between President Trump and the Ukrainian president, where President Trump pressured the Ukrainian president to investigate his political rival, Joe Biden. Alex Vindman actually raised concerns at the time about that call, believing that it was inappropriate. Now, in this op-ed, let me just read you a snippet of what Alex Vindman says in this. As he officially takes his retirement from the Army today, he writes, at no point in my career or life have I felt our nation valued under greater threat and in more peril than at this moment. Our national government during the past few years has been more reminiscent of the authoritarian regime my family fled more than 40 years ago than the country I have devoted my life to serve. And what is he exactly going to do about it? It's not clear, but Anna, he does seem to suggest he is going to be more involved in the public sphere here, specifically around the idea of meeting in November.
Jeremy Dinan at White House for thanks. Coming up, a CNN exclusive inside the operation sending federal agents to major cities in the U.S. to deal with protesters.
Original Wheatley, of course. Works indoor, works outdoor. It's weatherproof, it's waterproof, it's versatile, and incredibly strong. The toughest jobs on planet Earth.
The postdoc for the University of Phoenix offers, it just suit my life perfectly because I am all over the morning and I was able to
You can now brush and floss at the same time. Introducing Waterpik Sonic Fusion, the world's first flossing toothbrush. Brushing, even with an electric toothbrush, only hits the surface. But Waterpik Sonic Fusion thoroughly cleans those areas that other products miss. It's one step to a complete clean, and best of all, it's clinically proven to be twice as effective as regular brushing and flossing. Go online or ask your dental professional about Waterpik Sonic Fusion.
If you have moderate to severe psoriasis
Whoa,
or psoriatic arthritis, little things can become your big moment. That's why there's Otezla. Otezla is not an injection or a cream. It's a pill that treats differently. For psoriasis, 75% clearer skin is achievable with reduced redness, thickness, and scaliness of plaques. For psoriatic arthritis, Otezla is proven to reduce joint swelling, tenderness, and pain. And the Otezla prescribing information has no requirement for routine lab monitoring. Don't use if you're allergic to Otezla. It may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Otezla is associated with an increased risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts, or if these feelings develop. Some people taking Otezla reported weight loss. Your doctor should monitor your weight and may stop treatment. Upper respiratory tract infection and headache may occur. Tell your doctor about your medicines and if you're pregnant or planning to be. Otezla. Show more of you.
One of my favorite supplements is quinoa turmeric. Turmeric helps with healthy joints and inflammation. Unlike regular turmeric supplements, quinoa's superior version helps me get the full benefits of turmeric. Quinoa is the turmeric brand I trust.
Wayfair has everything you want. From grills, play sets, and more one-of-a-kind finds. It all ships free. And with new deals every day, you can explore endless options at every price point. Get your out-of-the-way season or fast, so you can get the good times back. Wayfair is just what I need.
Verizon knows how to build unlimited Verizon. Start leaner, most affordable network, offered at price point for everyone, most advanced iPhone gear. iPhone 11 Pro on us when you buy one. Because everyone deserves the best. This is unlimited built right.
Stop presidential candidates for a living. We are stealing eyes and ears on the draft. This moment is unlike any other.
Everyone has stuff they don't use. Stuff other people really want. Download Mercari and sell those things right from your home. It's fast. It's easy. And you can make a little money. Sell and buy almost anything from home with Mercari.
This is an important announcement for victims of sex abuse by Boy Scout leaders. The Scouts just filed for bankruptcy, but they still have more than $1 million in assets. We believe millions will be set aside to pay sex abuse claims. It may be a time to prepare for the future. As a $1,000 claim is set recently by the court, so don't wait. Call 800-837-9444. Now, to schedule a private confidential conversation with one of our attorneys, or go to scoutsettlements.com. Please contact us today.
Everyone has stuff they don't use. Stuff other people really want. Download Mercari and sell those things right from your home. It's fast. It's easy. And you can make a little money. Sell and buy almost anything from home with Mercari. The United States of America will be the countdown to always no snack.
Whether local officials want them or not, hundreds of federal agents are being deployed to several U.S. cities where violence is surging this summer. It's being called Operation Legend, and Chicago is one of those cities seeing an influx of those federal agents in this fighting gun violence. Let's bring in CNN's Ryan Young in Chicago for us. And Ryan, you've got an exclusive look at what Operation Legend would look like there. First tragic shooting to report on. Bring it to us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty tough to talk about. And if you think about this, we're less than half a block away before the shooting happened. In fact, this 9-year-old boy was killed. In fact, take a look at this picture. It's very tough. I talked to his father just a short time ago. He was telling us about the fact his son loved basketball. He loved playing Fortnite. And he was running over to a friend's house to grab a controller so he could play some more video games. And that's when someone opened fire. Take a listen to his father.
Sports, everything, stuff, back and forth,
Janari Briggs was just 9 years old, and so far police have not yet fixed whoever was able to open fire on him. They don't believe, of course, he was the intended target, but this is why federal resources are now surging into the city. There's plenty of people, there are plenty of neighborhoods that are asking for help. A battle of words about Chicago as violence in the city exploded. Chicago is a disaster. People are dying in Chicago and other cities, and we can solve the problem.
I feel very hard now. We're not allowing federal troops in our city.
More than 100 federal agents are surging into the city as part of Operation Legend. Do you think of Operation Legend?
Yes, I do. I think adding more federal resources to help on this, it can only help.
John Wells, the United States Attorney for the Northern District, is leading a federal effort to cut violence in the city. He understands people's concerns about the influx of agents.
The people coming in for Operation Legend, they will not be doing patrol. They are not out there, in uniforms like the Chicago police officers. But they will certainly be there in the background. They will be working with the police officers in the background to help on various kinds of cases, whether gun cases or drug cases.
Agents have brought in cutting-edge technology to help process critical evidence faster.
The vehicle that you see behind us is the Crime Intelligence Mobile Command Vehicle. Mobile Command Center is the only one of its type.
And inside, agents show me guns pulled off the street just days ago. One of the gun agents told me has been really modified, making it fully automatic with just a switch. Inside the phone last minute, you can see a gun, take it from the street.
Let me fit where you on now.
Each firearm needs a limited fingerprint on the person. So, like fingerprint, we take the experts, if they look at that, they not show.
Any bit of evidence helps to connect crimes, maybe even offenders. In Chicago, law enforcement is dealing with a staggering amount of violence.
So far this year, July 2020, we have more murders in the city of Chicago than we've had in all of 2014. It's just staggering.
Over the last 28 days, murders in Chicago are up 152%. Shootings are up 62% in Chicago compared to last year. The gun violence here, cruel. Through July 26, 212 of these shooting victims have been kids. 36 kids have lost their lives to violence. Federal agents working with the Chicago police have made several arrests so far, but each day the stakes seem to be getting higher.
Well, there's never going to be a mission accomplished as long as there are
being killed in
the streets of Chicago.
As you can imagine, it was a painful day. They are going to have a visual for this young man. You see his face right there. A 9-year-old, his uncle actually told me he had a killer crossover. He wanted to play basketball. He loved basketball.
Ryan Young, thank you. Coming up, the season just started last week, but it might not make it through another week. What the head of Major League Baseball says needs to change to avoid another shutdown.
Some small businesses don't have supermarkets. Their office is in Prague, and their workplace is at home. They won't find convenience. But for over 40 years, they've been able to find it at home place. Book the best lower code for any one project, online or the app.
Olay takes dispense experience. And one. Olay air is so powerful, it can use stand better than $300, $500, even $600 stamps. Pretty amazing. Olay saves everything.
Tempur-Pedic insurance give you truly transformative sleep. Surround the cost of the journey because only Tempur-Pedic's proprietary material adapts in response to your body so you can complete uninterrupted sleep. Experience our top-selling Tempur Adapt without only $19.99. Your house is your future. Protected from unexpected expenses. Leak Filter prevents damage to your home and keeps loved ones safe. At this challenging time, your safety is our priority. You're at home and see things that need work. But gutter cleaning is dangerous. With Leak Filter, you don't have to climb a ladder to clean
Record important phone calls with PaperCall. With PaperCall, you can record incoming and outgoing calls with the tap of a button. PaperCall offers crystal clear audio quality. PaperCall offers 99% accurate call transcription and seamless sharing with your favorite apps. Download PaperCall today.
A quick lunch is great, but with love, I'm looking for the balls. That's why I chose it.
When it comes to connecting with someone real, compatibility matters. That's why every 14 minutes, someone finds love on each other. Download the app and start free today.
This is Tiltback. It's my new pharmacy. Now, I have my medications delivered. They arrive in little packages, so I don't have to sort the pills. And their service is free. I only pay my co-pays.
Tiltback by Amazon Pharmacy.
Develop your own city from the Stone Age to the future. Available in the App Store and at FOE.tv. Forge of Empires. Play now.
Most sleep-aids fall asleep, but they can wear off in a few hours. Nitrate is clinically proven to help you sleep up to 7 hours by releasing melatonin in 2 stages, so you can wake refreshed. Get 7 hours of sleep with nitrate.
Tomorrow morning, a two-front war on the truth. The president and his media allies spread distrust with disinformation about the upcoming election and the pandemic. Private test journalists working double time to get the facts out. Reliable sources. Live tomorrow morning, 11 Eastern.
If you've ever considered getting a walk-in tub, we have great news. Introducing the all-new shower package. Now, for a limited time, when you purchase a Big Step walk-in tub, we'll upgrade it to include our newest and best feature yet. A free shower package. That's an $800 value free. With our new exclusive shower package, you can now conveniently shower in your new walk-in tub. A luxurious rainfall shower pad is adjustable for your height all the way up to 7 feet. Now you can find the world with the therapeutic benefits of $1 for Walmart that can help increase mobility, release pain, energy, and improve.
Got the older out of the bad pump.
Refreshing shower, all in one amazing product. Call today for your free shower package.
You call one if you got the soda yet?
Huh?
You call one about the soda if you got it yet? You didn't call.
No, I ain't called yet. He supposed to call us, didn't he?
Yeah.
Closed captioning brought to you by MessoBook.com.
Mental for real is all we do. Well, for 10 years, we have offered a free...
His shit gonna be gone.
Huh?
His shit gonna be gone.
What?
His shit gonna be gone soon.
It's been just 9 days.
I go open one of them. You eat them.
Kicking off the 2020 Major League Baseball season, and already there are questions if the season will continue. The Cardinals game tonight has been postponed after another positive test. That comes a day after ESPN reported the commissioner warned he may shut down the shortened baseball season if the league and players don't do better with safety protocols. I want to bring in CNN's Coy Wire. And Coy, what are the teams doing? How are they trying to manage these outbreaks?
My goodness. MLB had to alter their safety protocols even further this past week after that COVID outbreak in the Miami Marlins organization became the first of several stumbling blocks for this week's schedule. Now, just about an hour ago, the St. Louis Cardinals game against the Brewers in Milwaukee postponed just hours before we were supposed to play. That means 20% of the league's teams who had their schedules compromised by COVID. MLB issued a statement saying that the Cardinals' entire team was tested in Milwaukee yesterday using a rapid COVID-19 test. The test indicated that one additional player and multiple staffers may be positive. That's in addition to the 2 confirmed players that had already tested positive. Now, just about 2 hours before that statement, Brewers started Lorenzo Cain opted out of play in the rest of the season. Cain was hitting at Brewer Cardinals yesterday. Today, he said how he's done. He has a wife and 3 children. Cain's teammate, 6-time All-Star Ryan Braun, said earlier this week he didn't feel comfortable with the way things were, saying, quote, there's real fear and anxiety for all of us, unquote. So Anna Kane was reportedly set to make over $6 million in salary in this shortened 60-game season, but he chose instead to walk away.
If your health, your life, and performing, boy, different sports certainly have had different protocols. Some do seem to be working better than others. What have we learned? What are the big takeaways?
The bubble seems to be the key. The National Women's Soccer League already successfully completed a month-long tournament. MLS, WNBA, and the NBA have all had success working within bubble setups so far. Now, amid this pandemic and social distancing, social change also still very much in the minds of these athletes. Last night, more NBA players shining light on racial and social injustices in America. And the Orlando Magic's Jonathan Isaac became the first NBA player to stand for the national anthem since the league's restart. He did not wear a Black Lives Matter shirt either, but says that he supports the movement. The 22-year-old is an ordained minister. He won his team's Community Service Award last year. He said afterwards that Black lives are supported through the gospel. Now, Spurs coach Greg Popovich and assistant Becky Hammond also standing for before their win over the Kings. Popovich has been one of the NBA's strongest advocates for racial equality. Anna, he said it was a personal decision, and the Spurs players supported those decisions.
Okay, thank you very much. For Wire, good to see you.
This is CNN Breaking News.
You are in the CNN newsroom. I'm Anna Cabrera in New York. Thank you so much for staying with me. Our breaking news this hour. Amid a surge of coronavirus cases, Florida is bracing for yet another blow. This one from severe weather. President Trump issuing a federal disaster declaration as what has become Tropical Storm Isaias churns very close to the coast as the state there has reported more than 9,000 new infections daily for the last 5 days. Now, this hour, we are going to go to this presser with the Florida governor with the very latest. Let's listen in.
County line. The National Hurricane Center is predicting storm surge of 2 to 4 feet potentially from Jupiter Inlet all the way up to Ponte Vedra Beach in northeast Florida. Palm Beach County has issued a voluntary evacuation order for Zone A for mobile homes, substandard homes, for homes in flood-prone areas. Those in this zone should listen to their local officials and seek shelter as appropriate. In addition to sending shelter kits with enough PPE for 10,000 Floridians, the Division of Emergency Management has pre-staged 1.8 million meals and deployed staff to county emergency operations centers in the storm's path to help orchestrate response efforts. To respond to power outages, the Department of Management Services activated its emergency telecommunications team. Utilities, including Florida Power and Light, have pre-positioned workers. FPL has nearly 10,000 workers deployed and ready to respond, including more than 6,500 line and vegetation personnel. They're deployed across 16 staging areas up and down the east coast of Florida. There have been some challenges getting out-of-state workers, but they're continuing to try to get even more resources, and they're going to work around the clock until every customer has the power back on. Even if it's tropical storm force winds, you can pretty much be assured you are going to see power outages. That's certainly a 70-mile-an-hour wind will be enough to take down trees and limbs. That obviously interacts with power lines, and so that will happen, and people should be prepared for that. Now, FPL, other utilities have invested in a lot of infrastructure, such as smart grid technology. That allows them to restore power